Well, good morning, viewers. This is the new me now, Daryl Kirky. I look the same, but things are changing up here, in here. It's 19th of August, Tuesday, 2025, 6:40 a.m. in the morning. I'm a little bit speechless as a non-smoker. There's no doubt about it. It's a demon that's been controlling me for decades. It might have helped me in some ways, helped me to rationalize, think straight, but it also corrupted me. And my memories come up how it all started. I used to be a Mormon, very pure-hearted one. I didn't really know Jesus, but I certainly knew about obedience. I came off my Mormon mission as a whippersnapper, meaning innocent, virtuous, feminine, soft-hearted, a really good guy, and a very corrupted Nazi who believed in killing in the name of God and prophets if necessary. Right up until a Gnostic drug addict freak who was my childhood musician friend who attacked the Mormon church from the start. In one way, he was right, because a lot of them were self-righteous and sanctimonious. Sanctimonious means self-righteous. I had one enemy in the Mormon church that started the corruption with his racism. Every marriage practically interfered with. And so Zach, the good Samaritan, who got me out of hospital when I had a breakdown from the Mormon church and being attacked by friggin' Mormons, of all people, my own people. So I had to stop and think, this is a godsend. But then I hit the drugs, not illegal drugs, just started smoking. I went through a divorce. So I thought, well, that's a better choice than all this racist bullshit and all this corruption going on in the Mormon church by individuals, not the church itself. Now, after decades later, I can see that two wrongs don't make a right. It's just like the Jews fighting against the Muslims. Two wrongs don't make a right. They're just enemies. So from the start of my journey, as when I was pure, corrupted by a neo-Nazi in the Mormon church, who was just a butcher, even looked like Saddam Hussein, right up to a drug addict, Gnostic, corrupted. Satan used both of them. And now I'm being attacked for being corrupted, for having a sex life, a married life. And my friend that I've known since a child exposed many dirty secrets of as if he was part of the spying game, what goes on behind closed doors, which really is none of his business or anyone's business, nor the neo-Nazis' business. I had a life. They didn't. I was a world-class entertainer and I performed around the world, associated with the rich and the famous, though I myself never got rich and famous. And I did it all on a shoestring budget. and I did it without sleeping around once during my whole entire career. So I was definitely more pure in heart then than I am then. Now, I was virtuous, everything. And it took a neo-Nazi in the Mormon church to a corrupted Gnostic to corrupt me. When I lived with the Gnostic guy, when I started in that direction after my Mormon marriage broke up, a brother turned up who was living right near the apartment. He said, that guy is going to lead you down to hell. And I said, well, after what I've been through in the Mormon church, who cares? I'm going this way. And he said, drug addicts will lead you down to hell. And I thought, well, what do? Go back and be attacked by the Nazi who doesn't touch drugs, yet is a thug with murderous intent? In fact, a murderer, though underage murderer, got away with it. Killing in the name of morals, which means there are people out there who don't drink, smoke, tea, coffee, they're faithful to their wives and everything, but they kill, which is worse. You could say the same for Muslims. They've got a high morale about their belief and religion, but they will kill. Bloodthirsty religious fanatics. So of course I turned to the Gnostic, who was an anti-religious person, but the Gnostic was a drug addict. And I've just fallen out with him right on the day that I quit smoking. Just absolute demons come out. He's been pushing me to do music, saying that I never had a life when I was traveling all over the world living it up. He didn't. He never left the country. He's so friggin' jealous of my success that I stopped to think that he's the one who could have been, in the later years, riding into churches and having me destroyed out of his jealousy, but yet he poses a friend. That's what you call a wolf in sheep's clothing. People that get into your life that are not your friend, they're in your enemy. Even marrying somebody, sleeping with the enemy. I've actually been with a spy woman who I was told she killed 27 mafia bosses. And I tried to convert her to Christianity, and she was a militant Chinese communist. And it led to the murder of my father. So I certainly have put myself in positions with very, very dangerous people. But I started out totally innocent. I didn't go looking for these people. These people came looking for me. Our friggin' demons came looking for me because they're not pure in heart. And their mission was to destroy the pure in heart. 8 people online. So that's what happens. And now I can see why the Mormon church kind of says, avoid them. Avoid them like a plague. I remember when the neo-Nazi spoke at the church back in the 80s, and then he didn't turn up one week, and the stake president bishop of bishops came down from Perth and spoke at the pulpit and said, I warn you now, everybody in this ward, that man is extremely dangerous, basically drag you down to hell with his racism and corrupt you, may even have you killed. And I was so shocked. And this man, petrified, feared for his life, as most did. So there are people like Jesuits in the Catholic Church that pull the strings. There's a black pope, mafia, boss pope. He's not black, he's mafia. There are people that literally pull the strings in these religions, and they try to corrupt it. They are drinking out of a fancy cup, which is the Nazi cup, and not the wooden cup. And some of them know the church is bullshit, and others believe that it's true because God is racist. And they act all pure, pay their tithing, faithful to their wives, no smoke, no drink, no tea, coffee, and yet they will have you harmed, killed, if they don't like you. You don't fit in. Now, why was I the target? Because there are a lot of people that just never been targeted, and they never will. They have an easy ticket. I never did. So when my Gnostic mate come along, and he corrupted me with all this knowledge that all religions were false, that purity was nothing but sanctimonious, self-righteous bullshit and everything. And my heart was aching because I was pure. I was virtuous and pure. And he corrupted me. But he says that I'm the one that's corrupted. Because I had a life with woman, wine and song, you can say, in that respect. I was married 90% of the time. I had a life and I had kids and I traveled the world. He did nothing. I even tried to get him to travel around the world with me as my offside. But he chose his drugs and he never had money. Couldn't even afford a plane ticket. And the truth came up just yesterday, a big letter of attack, saying how corrupted I was, some sex deviant, somebody that's had it all, but never really had a life because it's all Mormonized, corrupted, polygamy thing and all this bullshit. People writing in and saying I'm a polygamist and I've got 10 wives somewhere overseas, and just jealousy, just pigs and dogs of people that just cannot stand that a filthy, rotten sinner like me, well, you can say before I was even in the Mormon church. But that's just kiddie stuff, growing up as a sinner. There was a time when I did feel completely right with God, pure in my heart, and the demons attacked me through religious people, to Gnostics and drug addict ones, to Scientologists, you name it. I've been attacked by people who are spiritual, who are religious. Of course, I get attacked by common atheists too, but they're atheists, and they only see in the bullshit of religion anyway. But Gnostics, they do believe, and they think they've got the fruits of the Spirit, but they'll smoke weed. Scientologists, I know, that smoke weed. And then there's those religious people who don't touch any drug, but they will kill. So much for not touching drugs in that respect. I'm trying to return to purity. I'm not comfortable with it at this stage. It's a bit like, it's not my lifestyle. It's a bit like telling a bikie to give up drugs and stop riding bikes and just go and ride a scooter. That's what it's like. Some kid from Britain, where are you? I'm in Perth, Western Australia. And this is my first video I've made as a non-smoker. And I'm going through the blues, so bear with me. If I get attacks, I'll just terminate the video. I preach the gospel of love. And I preach the gospel of salvation. But I'm at the stage now where I think all addictions have demons. And you don't realize how powerful those demons are until you try to quit drugs. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Correct. Yeah. So my commitment was so serious because it was commanded by an angel. I'm not doing it for religious reasons. I'm doing this because I was commanded to do this after decades of making attempts. And demons come out on even the first day. I broke my best friend up, a mate, musician friend, on the day. There were so many demons come out of me and him. I just couldn't believe it. I cannot believe how much drugs is just filled with demons. We just don't realize it. They want to dumb you down. They want to bring you down to a level of rational earthly logic and say, that bastard over there, he's sanctimonious, he's stuck up, he's religious. That bastard over there, who's pure in heart, who's not a racist, he's not a Nazi, he's virtuous, he's clean, he's not judgmental, but he's friggin' well, I don't know, he's pure, and yet to prove that he has the fruits of the Spirit to love and help others. I've got to admit that when I was in the mental hospital after my breakdown from trying to live all those laws of obedience in the Mormon church, not one person visited me. So there wasn't one person in the Mormon church that was worthy as a Christian. So sure I turned my back. Sure I went with the Gnostic. Sure I went with the drug addict Gnostic. Anything to get away from that sanctimonious, self-righteous cult religion. But now I've gone decades and I compare the two. It's just like comparing the Jews fighting with the Muslims and the Muslims fighting with the Jews. It's like just they're both wrong. From a drug-free Nazi who would kill, to a drug addict musician Gnostic, has completely destroyed my life as far as the purity that I started off with. Now, the amazing thing is the very first day that I quit smoking by the command of an angel, see, every other time it's never been a command. It's a choice. This time it was a command, because just in the last week I nearly ended up in hospital 3 times in 1 week. It could have been COVID, it could have been diabetes, but I did test for it. It could have been a heart attack. I don't know what it was. And I don't feel that as bad now, but I do feel mentally that I'm fading away. Meaning not serious like life-threatening, but I have nicotine to keep my brain stimulated because it shuts down. When you're codependent on a drug and you don't get it, you shut down. So if you don't hear from me, it means I've shut down. And if I'm all so-called right with God and I've shut down, how friggin' boring. Because I'm a preacher and all I have is a bit of nicotine gum, which I've stopped everything. Smoking, I don't drink. So there's one thing, one addiction, and a coffee, caffeine, because I knew a mate who died, had a head-on collision. He wouldn't drink coffee. He was a Mormon. And when I was with him, I'd grab the steering wheel of his truck. And I said, you better drink a coffee because you're going to die, mate, because you keep falling asleep at the wheel. He says, nah, the Mormon church says we can't drink coffee. So for me, it's coffee and a smoke. And without it, my brain's shutting down. I'm falling asleep. So I'm out of here until I get strength to continue, because I can't say I'm happy without a smoke, but I can feel the parasites leaving my body. I'm also vegetarian except 1 day a week, and I don't eat pork. I even stopped that. I definitely feel some crap coming out, detoxing, and there's definitely demons, because they tell you you're not worth living. If you can't have a smoke and a drink and a coffee and a fart, you can't have meat, you can't do this, kill yourself. That's what voices say. But that's detox, and you have to give it 40 days and 40 nights. And what happens after that? Those voices are still in my head. And people calling me insane, some people will say, I guess go and kill yourself. Who cares? Who cares? So there's very a lot of power in having a smoke, because Churchill, oh shit yeah, he did. Charles Spurgeon, a great reformer Christian, he smoked cigars. Wesley smoked cigar. So what's the friggin' big deal about smoking? I'd rather have a smoke than a drink. But I'm losing my friends, my child friends, what do you call it? Childhood friends. I'm losing my speech. Everything's breaking down, and this channel's about to be terminated until either I have a smoke or I get through 40 days and 40 nights and return. But as far as my Gnostic, corrupted, bloody drug addict friend would say, that purity is sanctimonious. You just think you're holy like some pope. Well, he smokes his friggin' weed, and when he doesn't get it, he denies Jesus 3 times in one night. Starts punching in my walls. Says he'll be the first to give his head and not take the mark of the beast, but he'd have to be stoned off his head first. Who said if I was married, a woman have to smoke marijuana with me before I'd have sex. I'd have to be some drug addict, Mary Magdalene prostitute. Right? So that's his mentality. I've been with some of the most pure, saintly women on earth, corrupted, from neo-Nazi Mormons to bloody drug addict friggin' Gnostics who indoctrinated me. Didn't need any of them in the first place. Satan come to kill, steal, and destroy. And he uses people even in your own backyard, meaning your church, your local church you go to your very childhood. Satan is using people to get you to be corrupted. When I say corrupted, I'm not talking illegal. I'm just talking, you have this purity of heart, and there are going to be people who are not pure in heart, and yet they're in religion for self-gain, whatever it is, and they see it from a mile away, and they said, let's destroy this bastard. And their demons get into you. I remember my skin crawling when I was taken out in the truck and by neo-Nazi, and saying the Mormon church is a neo-Nazi empire run by Lord Lucifer. I just got off from a Mormon mission. No, you can't tell that to a Mormon. That's neo-Nazism. You can't tell the Jesuits, well, the Jesuits know this, but you can't tell the Catholic people it's run by mafia. The Roman Italian mafia. Well, that's how it started. It's a friggin' Roman Empire. You can't tell people this. Maybe it is true. Maybe it is freaking true. If you can't beat them, join them. And now I'm not part of anything. And I've lost best friend, everything. All because I stopped smoking. I just said, I'm not attacking you, brother. I'm attacking the demons. You cannot come around and smoke while I'm giving it up. And he took offense. And even when I had my medical problem last week and so forth, he kept pushing the music onto me. We've got a job to do. We should be famous musicians. I was friggin' almost famous. He wasn't. His drugs took him down. And when I said, no, I'm not interested in the music, I'm interested in being closer to the Lord, he took offense, calling me a loser and everything. He's the friggin' loser. I just wanted to be with Jesus. YouTube is becoming a strange place, says Heathen Greaser. Yeah, it is. It is. And it's exposing all the alien thing going on. Things captured. People disappearing, you know. I mean, taken up, whatever. It's like the internet exposes what's going on. I mean, there's been things going on for centuries, but we just didn't have internet. So there were some strange things going on. I just don't want to get into it. I'm just watching the demons come out, even out of me. So, Azona's online. Can you shout out my friend Norma? Stitz. Stitz. Yes, Enorma. I shout out. All right. And British people are my roots from ancestry to Irish and Scottish and Viking. I got a little bit of Swedish and French in me too. And it seems like the English are intelligent enough to know what I'm going through because I've made an English friend. Just as I've had a fallout with all those who I thought were my friends turned out to be my enemies. And then God sends me an English friend who has given me some counseling, some comfort, and just perfect timing. Because I tell you what, when you lose all your friends when you quit drugs, and I'm not talking about friggin' illegal drugs. I don't need friggin' illegal drugs. My friends are all the ones that take the illegal drugs. I'm talking about friggin' smoking, and I just can't understand how everything in your life can fall apart. Okay, I can say I've got a best friend overseas. Yes, sure, intelligent best friend overseas in England. But I've lost all my friends here just because I stopped smoking. Of course, there are Mormons that would hate me because I do smoke. I wonder why people do what they do. Life is so miserable. Where am I going to go? Where do I go now? 40 days and 40 nights I've got to do this for. Let alone I had to become almost vegetarian to get rid of those parasites. Otherwise, we're just walking, living friggin' zombies. And the demons are having sex, enjoying life, like in a marriage. It's the demons having that sex, not you. All that fighting, carrying on, whatever it is, but you're doing it as a way of pleasure. You're getting some pleasure out of it. I'm not getting any pleasure out of this. I'm not getting any pleasure knowing that the demons are coming out rather than coming in. And as they come out, there's no pleasure. There's no reward. There's no rank. So all these people highway to hell, more fun going to hell than heaven. Bullshit. I can tell you how I feel right now. It's empty. You're gnashing teeth. Father has left the building. And I'm not even being a bad person. I'm just simply expressing what it's like when you stop taking a drug. Could be anything, right down to any addictive drug. That does include coffee. Just how lonely you can feel. I haven't lost my salvation. I've just lost all my friends here. And I can't believe it. And this has been going on for years. Every day, not every day, every friggin' time I quit smoking, right on the friggin' day, I'm having a fight with my mate. He wants to turn up, play his friggin' guitar, do the music. Every single time over history, the devil uses him to get me to smoke again. And yes, it's pleasurable. He's a good Samaritan, and he spends hours, and we enjoy each other's company. But I start smoking. And now that he's become the enemy, and he said this time it's forever. So really pissed off his demons. So I've got to sit here and I've just got to say to myself, this will pass. This will pass. Knowing that there's not going to be one contact in the whole friggin', well, in Australia anyway. Australian people, if they don't like you, they'll never speak to you again. So there are people out there who've got no friends. They're not real friends. They're superficial online internet friends. So I've got a really good friend at the moment from England who used to be a smoker and all drugs and everything, who become a devout Christian. And she is like, she's my sister in Christ. She is like, what do you call it? Susan Boyle, that famous big woman that won the Britain's Got Talent. And everybody looked at her like, oh, she's all fat and she's ugly or something, and yet she could sing and she melted the hearts of millions. She became famous. She could sing. Remember Susan Boyle? She got rich out of it too, by the way. She was nothing to look at, but she could sing, right? And I got counseling from somebody who can sing, meaning somebody with such a heart of purity, counseling everything. And I don't even know what the person looks like. And yet the Holy Spirit is so friggin' strong. It's the only source of protection I have as far as to continue as a non-smoker. And if it wasn't for her giving me the counseling, I really don't know how I would get through this, because there's not a call, there's not a person in the world that cares. People do not care if you live or friggin' die. Really, it's that friggin' selfish. And you change a habit, you lose your friend. You lose everything. You lose your job. Give up coffee, you can't even drive. You give up caffeine to become a Mormon, you have a near-death, or you have a friggin' fatal accident. People friggin' die when they give up drugs. I don't mean that you won't die from giving up smoking, no. But you die from getting in a car and driving and you're all spaced out. You're not calm. You're not thinking. You're trying to get to work as a non-smoker. You have a head-on collision. So sometimes the demons, they give you a life as a drug addict, and then until the drugs kill you. But you try living a life without it if you're a drug addict, and get in that car and drive and have a severe accident. You'll wish you had the drugs. Wish you stayed home. Remember that song? I feel a bad moon arising. Don't go out tonight, for someone's going to die. I feel a bad moon arising. Stay home. Stay home. Don't even go out. See? Home should be a haven. Okay, so I'm free of my drug addict, weed smoking, ex-cocaine friggin' mate. I'm free of the neo-Nazi who radicalized me about the Mormon church being Nazi empire. I'm free of all that. So maybe being free of all those type of people, maybe I could enjoy a smoke. But see, a demon trying to get into me and saying, it's okay, you can have a smoke. Where's it going to lead me? Definitely out of religion. And if I don't have a smoke, I need religion. This is what concerns me. It's almost like I'm meant to be a priest or something. It's calling me. I don't think I need a religion. I don't think I need a church. I think I need, you know what I need? I need a companionship. Living with a woman. So don't think I'm corrupted. I think I need a wife. Though I've had a wife. I need someone who can talk to me every friggin' day and wake up every day and talk and make each other a coffee and just sit down and just enjoy the beautiful sky and go for a walk. Yes, there's people that have all that, but they're not spiritual. They haven't given their hearts to the Lord. And they take drugs together and everything. I'm not talking that type of woman. And I'm not talking about women who are so holy, but they don't need a man. They get married for convenience. They don't need a man. They don't need sex. They don't need nothing. They just need bed and ales. They're more interested in Mother Mary. I just feel I need somebody who actually idolize me and not hate me for my ego, healthy ego. I know we're supposed to overcome it. That's what religion says. Overcome ego, overcome this, overcome that. Yeah, right. Just overcome everything. and shut our mouths. It's a friggin' lonely path, I can tell you, being a Christian, a real Christian, a pure-hearted Christian. I love to serve people, and I love to do things, but when I start doing things, I get attacked. When I was on my Mormon mission, I was being attacked by Baptists, telling me that they're going to kill the Mormon missionaries. It was a former Baptist minister, I found out later, and with his gang, rifle shooting gang, animal hunters gang. This is what happens. And even though I'm strong, when I'm having my smoke, my coffee, and that's all, nothing else, I can handle anything. And without it, it's not that I'm weak, because I've got the strength of 3 men when I don't smoke and I don't have these things. But I'm also fear the fact is I could lose it. And if I lose it, I end up in prison. So if I've got to make a choice between having a smoke or going to prison, I will have a smoke. And that's all I've got to say. I don't want to go home to God as a murderer. I'd rather murder myself with a friggin' smoke than take a life. And anyone tries to take my life, I'll be armed. My last job was security officer. I keep my guard up, because when best friends turn into enemies, that's friggin' dangerous. And it's just demons fighting demons. You kick a man down, the demon's got you to do it. When you keep kicking him when he's down, that's you. It's not demons, because you've got a body and the demons do not. The demons are sitting back enjoying the show. I tried to tell my mate, I'm not attacking you, I wasn't attacking him. I just told him not to come around, smoke his friggin' weed and his drugs. I just said, it's the demons, mate. And he says, all right, I'll come around and not smoke the drugs. Can I come around now? I said, no, I'm not friggin' well. Almost end up in hospital 3 times in the last week. I'm trying to quit smoking. No, you cannot come around. Not that I don't love you, brother. And he took offense. Big fight. Man, he doesn't quit his friggin' drugs, but I try to quit mine. And we're just talking, we're talking here is a friggin' smoke and a coffee. That's it. Doesn't make me a bad person. I'm sure millions of people out there would agree with me who do have a smoke and a friggin' coffee. I don't even want to drink. I don't like mind-altering drugs. Oh, but my mate says, oh, yes, but chewing nicotine gum is mind-altering. I can't give up weed, and you can't give up nicotine gum. Look, weed is a friggin' demons will get in for sure. It's a conduit straight to hell, let alone all the rest, cocaine and the works. Cigarette is definitely harder to give up than anything, definitely, or nicotine, definitely. But I use it because I'm shutting down. All right, I'll shut down. They're locked up in the bloody in a hospital. Yeah, for how long? A day or 2? No, years. Years. And you can't even smoke in a mental hospital now, outside. Even the mental patients can't even have control of something that's uncontrollable. Or they want their smoke. They can't even have a smoke. They're really locked up. Don't mind mental hospitals, actually. Quite funny, really. You see that movie Shine? I've met that guy in real life, David Helfcott. I used to hire him. Jeffrey Rush, from the Caribbean, that movie with Johnny Depp. The movie called Shine, a famous Jewish musician. His father used to whack him up to make him a perfectionist, and he turned schizophrenic, So I know that guy personally, and he's more messed up than me. And he married an astrologer that got plenty of money out of him, but loved him, but took him and launched him and became famous. Well, nobody's ever done that for me. Come on, Miss Astrologer, come and find me and put me on the globe, because I'm as good a pianist as David Helfcott. Made him famous. A woman who loved him put up with his schizo thing. Yeah? How many women out there would put up with it? And yet he's a famous musician. Yeah. Make me famous. Because I could be. I'm a very gifted musician. One of the best in the world. Praise God. It's my gift. Now I want to see what happens because I'm not smoking. Where it's going to lead. I don't want to be locked up. I want to be out there either performing or whatever I'm supposed to do. Gospel music even. But if I do absolutely nothing, I might as well have a smoke. But how long? Got to give it 40 days and 40 nights. Yeah. That seems like a long time not to have a smoke. How about 40 years? 40 years. And then pick it up again. I've just wasted 40 years of my life wandering in the desert like, oh, I need a smoke. And just to finish up a bit of a laugh, is this guy was always looking up and saying, Lord, I need money. I'm so poor. And the angel spoke and said, look down. And he found all this money. He spent the rest of his life looking down, looking for money. He never looked up again, nor thanked God. He was greedy. So God gave him the money, just enough, and he never looked up again. He looked down for the rest of his life, looking for more money. And he basically turned his back on God. See what happens? So don't pray, what's the word? Don't covet, don't pray for something. What's the word? Be careful for what you wish for. You might just get it. You might realize not really what you really wanted. God doesn't give you what you want. He gives you what and who you are. Might give you a need. Look, I don't know about the starving and all that. I don't know if it's bad karma, as some of the bloody Hindus would say it is just all friggin' bad karma. I can't comprehend it, how churches can't help the poor like that. I mean, there are people doing humanitarian aid, all those refugees and that. I don't know. I don't know why. And I know they're popping out babies and they're not taking protection, especially Muslim. They believe in multiplying and replenishing the earth. I mean, their rules are just satanic, because you shouldn't be having kids when there's a war zone or starvation. Not just Muslim, but could be any faith. Anyway, but when I have a smoke, it's like watching the news. I can deal with it because I was married to a political war correspondent journalist in a war. We went to a war zone and she was on death row. Right? If I'm standing there with bullets flying around and people trying to kill each other, and I'm having a coffee and a smoke, I tell you what, that's really comforting. You don't know if you're going to be alive the next minute. I don't need no Mormon. I don't need some religious freak to tell me I can't have a smoke when there's bullets flying around. I won't have a drink, but maybe, or if I was pain or suffering a wound that couldn't be taken care of, maybe I would have a whiskey or something for the pain. So don't give me sanctimonious religious bullshit when a person's in pain. I mean, especially a war zone one. All right, so I've got one friggin' English friend in the whole world. I've got one Asian friend in the whole friggin' world. I've got an American friend who's an ex-Mormon, but he hasn't contacted me for months. I know deep down he knows the church is true, which I mean, he knows the Book of Mormon's true, he says, but he thinks the church is bullshit, apostasy. Look, the Book of Mormon is as much bullshit as anything, because it's just sanctimonious, it's self-righteous, and it's another gospel. But he's going to justify it as truth. So I'm having a fallout with him. He's not really an ex-Mormon. He believes, and he's been married and sealed in that temple. So he's going to become a god, regardless if he goes back to that church. Right? I haven't had all that. So I did have once, but so he's going home to become a god. So, but just because he's left the church. No, I've only got two real friends in the world. I've got my mum. I've got a daughter that's waiting to turn 18 before I can have an intelligent conversation. I'm just too heavy for her. She can't understand a word. I'm just too deep. not very good with younger people. I teach secondary education, right? I'm not a kiddie teacher. I teach heavy stuff. That's it. All right. So I've got to get through another day, and this is harder than any other time because it's a command from an angel. And if I break it, it's not that I'll be cursed with struck with lightning or anything. It's just that there's something wrong with my body anyway, and I mentally fixed the problem by having a smoke, but the smoke may make the body worse because I'm going to have some X-rays. I think could be pancreas, something going on, and I noticed that when I do smoke, it can make it worse. It starts to, what do you call it? What's the word? Pulsate, the pain, physically, but mentally, I can enjoy life. Even if I was locked up in a prison cell, or at least go out and have a smoke, I'd still be reasonably comfortable. But but when you've got a command saying, don't do this, don't do that, it's not that you lose your salvation. It's just God's preparing me for something. But what? What? Moses was being prepared to enter the promised land, and he got angry and he hit a friggin' rock to get water out of it because the people were murmuring. He never even got to see the promised land. 40 years and 40 years in the friggin' desert, and he never got to see the promised land. That's what can happen. You do the right thing, you become all friggin' holy, sun shining out of your friggin' ass. You do everything that the Mormon church will tell you to do, or any friggin' religion, or any friggin' neo-Nazi rules, or any bloody Chinese bloody militant communist rules. Yes, all these moral family laws, but kill your own mother if she converts to Christianity. All these friggin' rules. I just want to sit at home and have a smoke and a coffee and mind my own friggin' business and just enjoy a bit of entertainment, but still love the Lord. But no, I've got people telling me I'm going to burn in hell because I have a smoke. No, true friends don't do that to you. You're not going to burn. It's just simply what God expects. What does God expect? Huh? To wander 40 years in the wilderness and not even get to the promised land. All right, an angel just come down and told you, by the way, you want to get to heaven? I'm going to make you suffer for the next 40 years so you can get to heaven. And you'll be so friggin' holy that when you die like Moses, the demons will come and try and desecrate your body, but we'd have to send Gabriel to get your body because the demons want to rip it to bits. That's your future. And you're going to lead a lot of people and you're going to be a hero like Moses, because it's never going to happen because Moses is a one of a kind. And most of the people are going to turn to pagan false god worship and worship calves and go against you, Moses. I got my famous Christian friend ringing me now. Isn't that amazing? And I need a bit of uplifting. Thank you, viewers. I better go. Sorry I got angry. Just need a smoke. I'm trying to get through. I'm not a bad person. Just can't deal with it at the moment. Love you all. Good afternoon. Good morning. Good night. I don't even know what the friggin' time is. Bye.